So pass the mic to Cecilia, whoever's got the mic up the back. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk to your spirit guides, okay?
Thank you.
So Cecilia's question was, can you please talk to my spirit guides?
No, it was something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
pretty much.
The answer to that question is,
Yep.
Let's do that.
They already came to me this morning, Cecilia, and this is what happened this morning too. They're very lovely. Hello, Cecilia. Maybe, oh gosh, this is tricky doing it this way.
Close your eyes and just
Yeah.
let them have their say.
Yeah. Well, we want to let you have your say, Cecilia. You can ask us anything. But we wanted to say how fun and exciting it is to be your guide. And we're so incredibly proud of you. And you're such a beautiful woman, and coming from our same culture, and we just feel that you are an inspiration, and that the main issue that you face is that you're hiding yourself, and you're stepping back from the leader that you were born to be. You know your faults, but you've got to stop using them as excuses. You have so much potential to be a woman of God on earth, something that we wish that we could have done. And we know what you are coming from, and you feel that it's too much to overcome, and we feel that you are perfectly able.
Can I add perhaps one of the only people from your culture perfectly able at this stage?
Yeah, we see you as the leader of, this is the, it's part of what is going to bring you so much joy. What you currently feel is so frightening is going to bring you the most joy. And we feel you're ready now. You're waiting to be ready. But we just see the joy that is waiting for you as you step into who you are. The person that God created with this beautiful spirit. And you already know that you've lived a life of adventure and change, and you already know that your heart feels called to certain things. But as we said, you're just using your fears as excuses at the moment. Okay, what do you want to ask us?
Hello. I've been praying for this moment. I've been praying for wanting connecting to you guys.
Yeah.
I've talked to you many occasions.
Yeah.
I've tried to find ways to connect to you. I feel sometimes I'm so inadequate that I'm blocked to this connection that I should be born to have.
Yeah, and you have it. And it's the major thing that you are addicted to is feeling that you are inadequate. It's the thing that is stopping you from reaching your potential. And you're someone who has so much curiosity and vigor and leadership, and the main thing holding you back is that you think that you can't do these things.
It's also too, isn't it, the feeling she has that her culture is so injured that it prevents her from doing these things in her culture.
Yeah. And that's the leadership we mean, that you are a leader within your culture. And we're coming from that same culture, although a couple of 100 years before you, which in reality it had its own challenges. And it wasn't until we reached the spirit life that we understood about God. And now we just see this incredible potential for God's truth on earth, and that you are the most qualified person.
I don't feel this way right now.
But that's what we mean. This is the. You must have the courage to move beyond that belief. And we understand that many things in your upbringing and your culture have caused you to feel like you should be inadequate, and even as a woman, that you should remain feeble in some way. But the reason it's so exciting to guide you is that it's bursting, the lack of feebleness is bursting out of you, and you're already so much more progressed than so many other women around you and in your family and in your society. And so capable in all the ways that you believe you're incapable, including connecting with us. We're often connecting to you when you feel inspired and when you have ideas, but it's this fear and the addiction to using the fear as an excuse that is getting in your way. We know it takes courage, and we know that there are generations of fears of violence that have come to you, but we also see that you can shift through these things, and we'll be helping you to stay safe as long as you are willing to feel.
I have come to realize fear is something I really want to focus on feeling. Although I'm feeling that right now, I really would like to get some assistance on feeling my fear.
Yeah, the one major thing you can do is to take the loving action that you already know, that you already feel called to. It's like a calling in you. You feel a calling to not only share God's truth, but express it in your life, express it through your person. And that self-expression in harmony with God's truth, if you can have the courage to do that, the fear will come out of you. You're trying to feel the fear, if we could say, in a safe way. Maybe that sounds contradictory.
And before she takes action.
Yes, yeah. You think the courage will come after you've felt the fear, but actually the courage will come in spite of the fear, and the courage will be the impetus to release the fear.
Do you understand that?
So meaning that I can't be afraid, but I should still take actions. As I'm taking actions, I can let it overwhelm me.
Yes.
So if I don't take actions, I lose the opportunity.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we don't just mean, yes, physical actions, but the action in your self-expression.
Yes, I'm afraid to do that because I'm often worried people will be... I often in situations where I feel there is something I wanted to say and correct.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I shrink myself, or sometimes I modify myself in order to say less compared to what I want to say to the full extent.
Yeah. And the more you start to say what you think already that you want to say, the more you'll find you have to say. And also, it's not just what you say, but there is a desire for loving expression inside of you. A desire to not just say the words of God's truth, but to express them through your being, through your presence. And don't diminish that in yourself.
So an example of that is like when you feel like you want to hug somebody, but they won't let you. Or you're worried to do it. You feel like you want to express your affection for people, and you're worried to be open-hearted about those things. You also feel like
you want to create more in your life,
Yes.
and you're not allowing yourself to really discover emotionally what you want to create. You're feeling frustrated, you notice, you feel like, oh, I'm not doing everything I could do, I just feel that, but you don't allow yourself to dream and imagine, or if you do, it's only to the point of your fear. And what we really want you to know is that you are capable of very big things, far beyond what you currently imagine. It's very exciting for us.
and you just feel more afraid.
I'm shaking constantly right now, but I'm so happy to finally hear your words.
Yeah.
I feel like so inadequately advised. Of course, Jesus and Mary, they are constant inspiration, but I felt like why there is this gift and I cannot benefit from it.
You need to trust more that you can feel us, and you need to.
Can I say, you at times think the connection is going to be intellectual in its nature, and what's actually happening is they are communicating with you very much more emotionally than that, like in terms of your feelings. And so this is why at times you believe that you're not really hearing them when you actually are hearing them in your heart. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can live in your heart a lot more and trust that place. And we think that you understand what we mean by that, to come into that space where you feel everything, but you have passion and you have... you feel tuggings in your heart. That's where you feel them most. And you've been trained to use your head, but it's not really got much control over you. You would like it to.
You have this heart drive,
Yeah.
to do things.
And this is where we touch you. This is where we communicate with you. And this is where, when you are wanting to feel inadequate, you stop trusting this heart. And this heart space that is very powerful and creative, and you need to let down the barriers of what it is you think you're going to create. Your mind can't really. It's
useless. Really, it's useless for me. I feel like sometimes if I go into my mind, one way I rely on it, on the other way I'm so frustrated with my mind. I feel it's useless. And
it is.
Keep me down.
Yes,
and,
it keeps you small and constricted and in a box, and it keeps you thinking of things that you think would be reasonable to create, or that you might be able to do, and really, if you feel your heart, we don't even have to tell you, but we will be with you in this process. But your heart is going to drive things beyond even your culture, but. This creative force within you, we just encourage you to embrace it now.
Okay. I have so much to ask, and now I don't know what to ask.
Exactly, that's what happens.
Yeah. Well, we're not leaving you. So
I just want to say thank you for not giving up on me, because I've given up on me so many times.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you, and thank you for loving me.
We adore you, Cecilia, and
it's a pleasure for them.
Yeah, it really is, and we feel honor. You understand honor. We feel honor that we get to be a part of this precious time in your life on earth, and for the potential that you can step into.
Thank you.
Can I just say...
It's a proud moment for us as Chinese women.
Yeah. Cecilia, it's like, for them, it's like there's very few Chinese women on earth who are not heavily suppressed, as you know. And to find somebody who isn't heavily suppressed and who hasn't allowed the suppression of their childhood, and then to be assigned to be their guide, and then to also watch the potential of what they could achieve because they are more emotionally connected than the average person in your culture. For them, it's like, this is like an honour for them to be your guides. You understand? Yeah.
Yeah. And we know we have to go, but we just want to encourage you to trust yourself. Trust your heart, trust your longings, and you already have longings, and not to let your own feelings of inadequacy stop you from stepping forward into a future that is very exciting and very adventurous. And we know those things make you come alive, and it's only fear. It's only fear, and on the other side of it is a very expansive future that will continue not just on the earth, but your whole existence. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Mary.
Okay. They are so, beautiful, Cecilia. Just very, it's like they're very gentle Chinese grandmas, and I know that must be strange for you to hear, but they're so soft. Yeah. It's very nice. I just blow my nose and stuff.
Yeah, we just need to... Yeah. It's interesting being someone's guide, because you can see all the potential, and you can also see where fear might be stopping all those potentials, Yeah.
They're not taking any of your excuses.
No. When you say fear, they say, "What's fear?"
But also,
just the feeling you need
the
to feel.
The inadequacy thing, that was the first thing that when I saw your question this morning, and I just immediately asked for them, and wham, they were there, and I was crying, and then they were like, her main issue is that she just wants to believe she's inadequate. You got to sort that out. That's you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They came to us this morning when we were having breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very nice. Yeah. Okie dokie.
So just to give Mary a bit of time to switch to another group.
Yeah, well, I had this question from Sanya and Dayan, but it was funny because it's like both of you at once, what's my biggest issue, but you've got different guides. So they kind of came to me and I wrote some things down. So why don't I just tell you what they told me, and then if you want to ask questions, we'll try and tune into each one. Yeah, well, there's more than one, but yeah. So Sanya, you asked what is the most important thing I need to work on, and they said your feminine expression, fully stepping into your feminine power. That includes your sexual expression and your creativity, and to give up the need for a man's approval for your feminine expression. And they brought my attention to your dad. Has your dad passed? No, but just the very... the high level of reserve, the way that he withdrew from your femininity has had an impact on you. Yeah. Sort of a silent, rejection, I suppose, of your very, and it's almost like I don't know what Dayan thinks, but it's almost like you already feel quite connected to your femininity, to me, and they were like, no. It's nothing compared to where she can go. It's this very kind of allowing and accepting while creating space that you have the potential to step into. It was lovely. Yeah. Dayan, so these guys were saying you need to look at your motivation for your ambitions. That there's this desire, there's a judgment in you that's happening all the time. External, internal, that you're not very connected to, but it is happening and is driving some of your... you sort of feel frustrated at times, but there is an arrogance and a superiority there that's coming from your relationship with your dad that you haven't dealt with, and it makes you want to perform in a way to almost impress yourself, impress him, And it also has driven this desire for there to be like a magical change or like an enlightenment moment. And I know that you're sort of intellectually shifted away from that, but there's still this feeling that I want to become like, I guess it's impressive to yourself. Yeah. So, do you want to ask any questions, either of you? No, that's okay.
I don't know, Diane, if you actually get what was said there.
Do you? Is it a bit confronting to hear those things? Or?
You know how you described to us when we were having lunch with you the experience you had, the sort of the drugged experience you had, and you actually liked it. You described it as if it was a major life-changing time for you. Do you remember that conversation?
Yes, it influenced my faith. I think that was like the biggest thing there.
Well, you think it influenced your faith in a positive direction, and it didn't.
Mm.
It didn't.
It gave, yeah.
It gave you more of a desire for magical change.
Rather than deal with this like lack of faith that's very much coming in this relationship with your dad, and just this like it's like a frustration with self, but frustration with others, a frustration, and
so you're looking for a
way out of
some magical way out of the situation emotionally that you find yourself in, and the trouble with that is it's going to attract some, if you're not careful with that, it's going to attract some very dark spirits into your life, and it already has in the past, and it will continue to do so in the future. So it's fundamentally competition with your dad, proving yourself to other men sort of thing. But at the moment you don't recognise it as that. You're sort of, you're trying to be, you have the ambition of being sort of special or unique, but to get there, you want it to be some kind of magical changing moments to get there, rather than just some humble emotional work that needs to be done. And this is why you felt that time where you had the drugged experience was helped you have faith, but actually it established a bond between you and some darker spirits that actually is not going to be helpful for your progress in the future. So,
yeah. And it's almost like what your guide was saying is like it's like, you've done work on yourself and you've sort of shifted in your life a bit towards, I want to be kind of a moral man. I want to be a loving man. I want to be like a sincere person, So your aspiration has sort of shifted over the course of your life to just be firmly there. But they're saying it's kind of tainted by this other motivation that's been with you right from this early age to get away from who... It's kind of like your upbringing gave you this message about who you were, that
or who you should be.
And you find it distasteful in yourself, like this sense of self, and it's like this motivation to get away from that, rather than the way you're actually going to become this sincere, solid, loving guy is to really go back and embrace the little Dayan, if you like, who took on some bad messages about himself and really release those messages, so you have more of this self-acceptance. Is this?
You have an internal shame about the true Dayan.
Yeah.
That came from your childhood experience, and you are now acting in a manner that's trying to get away from that Dayan all the time, but. And for the most part, you're not even conscious that you're doing it.
Yeah.
It's a driven motivation. And the spirits who give you these magical experiences are trying to help you to do exactly that, to get away from the true you.
Yeah. It's, yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know how to connect to
this.
To the smaller child, that child.
Yeah, that's the issue.
That's the issue. You've been distanced from sort of yourself as the child for such a long time, and also it's been quite pushy distancing as well. It's not only motivated by your own desire, but it's also motivated by father's desire, culture desire. Get away from the soft male Dhyan into this sort of more ambitious, driven Dhyan, which are actually not really are.
Yeah.
How do you define driven?
It's not the drive. This is something your spirit friends wanted to say. Your drive is not a problem. It's the motive for the drive. Don't lose the drive. They love this about you. You know, you.
What I mean by driven is motivation for ambition. Motivation. It's driving you into a certain direction, which is anti-love actually. So that's what their concern is. It's.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get something that maybe you can connect to more. But I think the reason, you know, because you said what is the most important thing to work on, they're like, right, let's get to get to the thing, because
it's also the thing you're the least conscious of.
Yeah. The thing that you're going to be least likely to hear from them, basically.
How to become more conscious of it?
I think you already are to a degree, because if you look at what you've been doing over the past few years of your life, you can see that you are you want there to be magical experiences of change. So you want there to be immediate enlightenment.
And you want to experience yourself as a loving person. You know, you want to be that person. It's just that at the moment you're trying to avoid this kind of self-hate, shame thing that is in you, and you don't really acknowledge that it's in you. It's like
you as you are right now have a superior feeling and a sort of feeling of judgment and arrogance towards the person that you actually are.
Yeah.
So you've got this sort of dichotomy, a separation occurring within your psyche, within your psychology. You've got this sort of separation occurring where the adult Dhyan doesn't really like the characteristics or feelings of the child Dhyan, and actually feels, I'm going to make myself into a better person than that.
Yeah.
I'm going to make myself into, and you don't realise that you're actually judging the real Dhyan quite heavily, and so I'm going to make myself into a better person than that, and then this attracts spirits around you who then say, yeah, we're going to help you make yourself a better person than that, because we agree with you too, that child is a bit insipid, or they have these same judgments that many in your culture have towards true masculinity. They have a feeling that masculinity is big, tough, strong, direct, all these other sort of definitions of it, and so they're going to help you do that. And they're also doing. You have a desire to have a spiritual process in doing it, and so they're trying to help you have spiritual processes to actually accomplish that underlying goal, which is to really almost completely disconnect from your true nature and self, right? And so. The problem with that is that if you don't stop that now, by the time you've passed, you won't even recognise this child Dhyan. You won't even recognise them. And it will take quite a long time, if you don't address it now, it'll take quite a long time for you to recognise that you've distanced yourself from your real self, from your real nature and personality. So that's their concern.
What is the suggestion how to do that? What's the best way?
I think I've already said that.
Yeah. But definitely, you need more compassion for yourself. And one of the ways that you can do that is to notice where you lack compassion. You know, you need to become more sensitive to that, where you lack compassion to yourself or others. At the moment, see, the issue they're saying is that you've been guided for quite a long time, since you were quite small, but you had natural love spirits doing it initially. And now you have divine love guides, but there's a lot of kind of training that the natural love spirits, some of them genuinely trying to help you because you had this aspiration to better yourself. But they've kind of distanced you from this shame type feeling that you have in you. So the key thing is to recognise the influences that are around you. You're very mediumistic also. Recognise the lack of compassion in yourself and pray about it.
Recognise when you go into superiority and arrogance?
Yeah, notice that. Notice that.
You don't see that.
No.
But if you can notice that, if you see that, you'll be able to see, why am I doing that? You start questioning. In that situation, why did I go into arrogance there? In your relationship, why did I go into arrogance there? You know, what's going on? What's causing me to go into this arrogance? It's always covering over a feeling of your own that you're ashamed of, that caused you to go into this sort of state of arrogance or superiority over partner as well as others. Yeah. So recognise the addiction to use techniques that are unloving, such as arrogance and superiority, and quick fixes.
Well, and that's the funny thing that your guides just said. They're like, dude, you're doing it now. Like, you just want to fix it now. Like, do you know what I mean? They're like, this is part of the issue.
How you're feeling right now is one of the things you do.
Yeah, like sort of, there's no tolerance for yourself to have a problem. And there's no sort of, you want to get it fixed straight away, but it's like being soft to yourself in that space and kind of opening up to, okay, I've got this issue, my guides have told me, I'm not going to fix it now. At this stage you don't really believe you have it, but they're saying you have it and they're trying to help you. The key is for you to go to yourself, they're saying I have it, so I need to at least be open to the fact that I possibly have it, given that they probably know me better than I know myself at this point. And then start from that position rather than starting from a position, I don't have it. Or if I have it, I've got to get it fixed now. You know, it's just like become curious, become soft, become compassionate. These are all things that little Dayan needs. Yeah.
And there's a lot of emotions that are from your childhood that are getting masked, covered over and not dealt with because of the feelings you have when you're in the state you're in almost right now. Yeah. And there's a lot of feelings that are being covered over in that state. So and that's what they're concerned about. There's these feelings being glossed over that's not helping your progress.
Yeah. And you guys are like, you're a lot more playful. They're like looking forward to playful, Dayan. You know,
you're a lot less serious in your soul.
In your soul, and they're looking forward to doing that. They're like very cash guys. Actually, they're like, let's hang out, man. Like they're on divine love.
Relax, man. That's relax, man. You know, like.
It's cool. It's cool. We've all got stuff. But and I say that they're also very compassionate for it. It was hard. It was hard when you were little, actually. Yeah. They feel compassionate for that space. Yeah.
And is it true too that your father's history was involved in the war and Second World War and later wars?
Grandfather, but his influence on the father was really strong.
Yeah.
My feeling is like I didn't even have father. In a sense, he was absent.
Yeah. So you
haven't really had modelled to you in a good way what the positive expression of being a man is, and that you can be emotional and connected and gentle and
just the opposite of that. That was the model.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. And so like. You guys are kind of proud of you already because you're like you've made a will-based choice. I'm not doing that, you know. But
you're pretty harsh with your will, though.
You are. You're like boom, yeah.
So I'm forcing myself to do this. I'm forcing myself to do that, and that's it. Not gentle. With yourself about these things.
Yeah. So you develop the gentleness, and it'll. And your wife is going to be such a help in that regard, given what they said to me about you. So, yeah.
If Sonia, you connect to your femininity, you need to allow yourself then to have arguments about the way he's expressing his seemingly masculinity, but it's not masculinity, it's injured. So you need to be able to stand up for that, you know, and that's one of the things that he said is that because you want approval from the man, you have a tendency then to suppress your femininity so that he doesn't get upset or angry or that you don't feel any negative emotion from him.
Rejection, this is sort of rejection. You don't want to feel a distance, you know.
Yeah. Sometimes I argue, but maybe I cannot stand for that. Like.
So it's when you're at your wit's end, like when you're at the end of the line. That's when you argue, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to be able to see the thing earlier. And
all
argue
couples
earlier.
need to learn this. Like have the argument sooner, and then it's not so.
Don't wait until it's dire straits.
Dramatic, because you're dealing with something. Here it is, and it's when you're both at the end of your tether, or one of you is.
So the problem with arguing only when, you've tolerated something, tolerated it, and weeks have gone past, you've tolerated it. As that happens, your feelings are building up, to a boiling point.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
And so then by the time you start to express them, they're already boiling, and it's going to come out in all sorts of unloving ways probably, and then on top of that, a lot of times you're so upset by that stage that you're not even really clear about what it is you're even upset about because it's been weeks of boiling, over. And so one of the things everyone needs to learn to do is have honest conversations sooner rather than waiting until you feel like you can't handle it anymore and then have a conversation. Because the trouble with the waiting is that you've got the boiling emotions also boiling up and being held in during that waiting period. And so by the time you come to express what might be the truth, at the end of the day you've also got all these emotions that you've been suppressing mixed in with that truth, and so sometimes it's very hard then to recognise what the truth was in what you're talking about now. But if you can raise these things as soon as you notice them, right, then it's much, much better for the relationship. Yeah.
And usually we don't raise them because we want to avoid emotions. And then we get to the point where it's like, well, I still want to avoid the emotions, but it's just too much for me now. And then, so you're not in a humble state anyway. It's much better to be humble sort of sooner and feel whatever comes up in those interactions. You don't get to that end of your tether place, we call it. Yeah.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Is there, how I understand, I can tap in my femininity through my creativity?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that like my pet or something?
And also honouring your feelings too, Sonia. Like, you often dishonour your feelings. So you might aim for a creative moment, but also let your emotion drive the creative moment.
Yeah. The way they showed it to me was more like you will become more creative as you embrace. It's like really coming to embrace, just like really experience yourself, so emotionally and physically. They stressed this physical and sexual experience of yourself as well, and that what you're experiencing now is just far less than your potential.
You've almost been taught, haven't you, to have sex for the man's sake, almost, is the feeling they have.
Yeah, and that it's really yours to own, and your feelings are yours to own, and your personality is yours to own, and that this is going to unlock a lot more. You sort of feel a bit frustrated in creativity now, whereas it was it's a flowing state. It's like a flowing state they're encouraging you to go into. So not trying to limit yourself. It's this self-limiting that they're saying. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to thank my guides.
Yeah. They're thankful to talk to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good night.
And Alex, it just occurred to me to mention to you that similar injuries to Dayan in some areas there. There's this young boy shame that you are doing and wanting kind of spiritual quick fixes away from that lad who needs your love, you know, and who's been quite abandoned for a long time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, what next is the question. There's a Daniela. There's two Danielas, isn't there? Yeah. Who asked about their dad? Yeah. I thought it was, because I was thinking, is this Daniela? I'm like, this guy's not Italian. I'm like, well, who is this guy? I'm like, maybe Daniela didn't have an Italian dad, but that's what it is. Yeah. All right. We'll try, hey, Daniela?
Maybe we explain. Daniela asked...
Oh, yeah, sorry. She says, my dad died over 20 years ago. Can you check with him if he's doing okay? Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. So the feeling hang on. Is a very reserved man on earth. Yeah, yeah. Sort of very stoic, very shut down. Yeah, very like, not passionate. No, yeah. Yeah. So I'll try and speak from him, Daniel.
Thanks.
And we might be able to speak with him as well.
Yeah. He has some affectionate name for you that I can't say in your language, but it's like, hello, my sweet, my little sweet sort of thing. Yeah. It's good to finally speak with you, and I'm happy. I'm happy with you. I didn't tell you that, but I'm happy with you. You could say my life here is slow, and I feel I've been slow here. But I'm just happy. I'm happy with you. I want you to know I'm happy with you and your life. And I'm happy that you are somewhat happy. Thanks.
But are you happy?
I can't say I'm happy. Mm-hmm. I felt it quite... I felt myself quite slow here. He keeps sort of stressing. It's very slow. He feels very wooden, very... almost like difficult to move in his body, you know. I see you and I see the earth and I see... But I don't do much here. I don't feel much here. I don't have much here. I feel what I had is on the earth. Yeah, yeah.
His name?
Mio.
Mio.
Michael in German, actually.
Yeah.
But Croatian, it's Mio.
Mio.
It's nice to hear my name. Yeah. It's not that happy. I would like to tell you that I'm happy, but it's not that happy yet. I hope one day it will be happy.
Can I help you somehow?
I don't think you can. I don't know. I don't think you can.
But are you on the divine love path or no? Okay.
I don't know. I didn't know much about that.
Mio, perhaps if you could talk a bit about what you believed just before you passed, and that might help do I understand like why you feel the way you feel now?
Well, I feared. I feared just before I passed. I feared what would happen. I feared I would be nothing. I feared I would never see my family again.
Didn't believe in an afterlife either?
No.
No.
But I didn't know how to express even my fear to the people around me. I just went to my death in the way that I thought that I should. And it was good to know I wasn't gone.
Mm-hmm.
It was good to know
still alive.
I could see my children. I could see things still.
Mm-hmm.
I was worried I would be in the ground. But I haven't really found myself in this life. I haven't found where I am or what I should do.
Mm-hmm. Would you like some help with that?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'll ask somebody to come and.
I don't see many people.
No, but you'll be able to see him now. Yes. This is a man can help you get from that wooden feeling you have, that sort of detuned emotional state, and he can also show you where your home is and other things like that. And that'll help you come to terms with why things have been slow for the last time.
Why have things been slow?
There's a number of reasons actually for yourself. One firstly is that you never had a definite belief when you were on earth about what would happen when you die, and so now you've sort of just sat around waiting for somebody to tell you what's going to happen, but you've never asked anybody what's happening.
And I feel very sad now.
Yeah.
Why am I so sad now?
Well, because the sadness you feel is regret about, you could have asked but you didn't ask, and these feelings of regret are sometimes tough to feel,
Yeah.
Yeah. And the key is to let yourself have them, feelings of regret. They're not permanent. If you let yourself have them, they will pass. And then, but the man I've just introduced you to he will be able to help you sort of get through this sort of wooden phase you feel in yourself and soften to the feelings you actually have. See, a lot of times we hold ourselves like a tight ball, we hold our emotions in check, and this is something you've done all your life on earth. You held your emotions in check.
Yes.
And you held everything in containment.
Yes.
And so when you passed, although your circumstances changed, you still continued to hold yourself in containment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And because of that, you didn't even think to ask somebody for help, or you just thought, this was my lot in life, hold myself in containment more, still keep doing the same thing. I don't really know where I am and what I'm doing because I don't really, no one's taught me anything. And in that state, there's a tendency to never ask either. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And now you have that spirit man who's come. He's going to be your friend. He'll help you. He'll help you sort of try to release that containment that you've placed upon yourself and your life, and particularly containment on your emotions, that you had. And he's going to try to help you break through there so that you can feel some drive for a future life, rather than just accepting the life that you feel was allotted to you. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought strongly I should accept what life
where you are
hands me.
Yeah.
But if I leave the earth,
you can come back anytime. See your family. You can.
You have to make. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you for bringing me to my daughter.
Yeah.
Make sure she knows I love her.
Yeah. No, she knows. She knows. But also she loves you and she wants you to be happy as well, right? Yeah. And also, the more you progress in the spirit world, the more freedom you will have to come back to Earth whenever you want to have a visit, see how the family's going, see how your daughter's going. You can go back to where you were, and it's very important you learn new things, because when your daughter passes, you'll be able to teach her things that she doesn't know, that you didn't know. But now you're in a state where you can learn those things, can't you? So you can learn them and be open to learning new things and having new experiences. And this will be very different for you, because when you're in life on Earth, you just thought, oh, well, I landed in Croatia, this is my life and this is what I've got to put up with, and, and there was sort of like a acceptance inside of you that has grown into an immobility, not becoming immobile.
Yeah.
So that if you can change that, then things will change a lot for you in your progress in the future. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So listen to the man who's come to you, and he'll help you.
Thank you so much.
Daniela.
He loves you. And,
I love him.
It's very strong, the love
he's,
feeling for you. And
he's had a bit of a hard time the first 20 years of his spirit life, because he's
just
kept himself just locked up in a...
Yes.
Just waiting for some revelation to occur that never came.
And feeling he feels quite attached to you. And
it meant he'd become quite earthbound as well, because he didn't know what else to do.
But the main thing was just feeling locked up emotionally, not feeling. But then as soon as the man came, lots of feelings started flowing in him, and then he was, that's good. That's good.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Sure. It's good to help your dad out.
It's a sweet man. Okay. All right.
Olga, one last question. This is.
Olga's question is, why don't I have any questions? But then your guides came and said, well, can we talk to Olga? So I said, okay. Okay. Hello, sister. Thank you for making time for us in your life. We know you're doing that, and it's a pleasure to be with you more often when you're conscious of us. We know you have frustrations, and we know you have rages, and we know you feel a bit messy and imperfect lots of times. But we see you in a process of change, and we invite you to invite us more often and to pray. What do you want to ask of us? Even though you said you have no questions.
The name, so maybe I know, because I often have difficulties to know when they're here or not.
Yeah.
And I wonder why that is.
It comes from a feeling of hardness in your heart towards love. Mm-hmm. Our main desire is to love you and to help you open to love again. But often you harden yourself in a self-protective way, and then you don't sense us so much. We're from your heritage, so also German, also Austrian. This heritage. Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you to remember how is your dad? How does your dad feel about spiritual things?
I would say he's open, but more esoteric.
Yeah. Is he open to your emotional expression?
No.
No, it's more not how does he feel about spirit. It's how he feels about you. Yeah. This is a big block to you. But it's also your mother, actually. Just both. You feel like it's like there's a bubble, a boil on inside of you about all you can feel injustice, and it's important to you, but it's like you're afraid to let the lid off and just have all of your feelings, and some of it will be angry and frustrated and sad and scared, and it will all come out at once, and you're afraid of that happening. But we're confident. We're confident you'll be fine.
Your father doesn't like emotional mess.
No, he doesn't.
No.
And you judging your emotional messiness.
Yes.
And we don't see a mess. No. And we also see the clearing up is going to be, good.
Got to let everything go where it goes.
Overdue. Yeah. You've been knowing what you need to do for a while, and but you're trying to come at it little by little, and if you just let it all, it's your part of your nature is very. It's like extreme, but it's not in a negative sense. It's like the reason you feel like sometimes I have no questions, I can't feel anything, is because you're shutting down your emotions, and when you have your emotions, it's intense. It will be intense, and you're quite frightened of that, and so you shut it down, and then nothing works, nothing happens. But it's being brave to be the strong woman that you are, which is very kind of an electric fire of emotion that initially will be quite lots of volcanic eruptions, but it'll get cleared out, and then you'll feel like this it's like a rushing waterfall of pure water, and so it's coming to terms with this part of your nature that is very that will help you so much, and you'll feel us when you trust that process more. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're not going to hurt people.
Okay, that's my concern.
Yeah. You're not. It's not in you to hurt. It's not a danger we feel that you will hurt people. It's not in
fact, there's
you.
more likelihood of you hurting them doing what you're currently doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Trying to keep the volcano under wraps, it gets more dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah. There's more earthquakes and people getting injured. Yeah. You know, you have enough ethics that you're not going to harm people. Yeah, we're glad. We're glad to speak with you.
Thank you.
Please keep calling on us.
Have you got any questions for them?
Yeah. Do you know the name of them? So.
Names is tricky.
Particularly in different languages.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's like an N sound. It's German though. Woman. There's 2 women and a man.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I don't know the names.
It doesn't matter. But are they in a divine truth path?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They're like, you could ask. Yeah. You know that.
But they're also saying, of course, that's why you're here.
Yeah. That you can trust a lot more, that you know us, you know the feeling of us, and you know our way of communicate, like our style. It's similar to your own.
And just one more question: how my mom is, or our mom, because she died. Many years ago.
She's having some hard times with her grief, but she is in her grief now, so that's a good thing. Initially, she was trying to hold it all in, and trying to kind of make change in herself without just allowing the grieving process. She had to go through what you both have to go through now, of this acceptance of your grief. But for you, Olga, there's this flavour to your nature which will make it go quick,
Easier.
as long as you surrender to it. Okay. Yeah.
Your mum more stoic,
Yeah.
so she's finding it harder.
Yeah. But she has started to connect to her grief, and as she softens, she'll be around you more. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah.
Mum's in the first sphere.
Yeah, but not in that.
Not in
the
a terribly
terrible
dark place, but just a very emotionally. She's just coming out of a very emotionally shut down place in the first sphere.
Yeah. And lots of sadness now. So, yeah.
So now she's softening to her feelings and sadness, and so that's meant that she has moved from that shut down place. Like before, it was more like a ice block place, and now there's some warmth and light entering her life, but because she's been shut down on Earth quite a lot, quite shut down emotionally. She's just getting used to expressing sadness and actually having emotions that are more real than she had on Earth, which on Earth mostly it was just sort of anger.
Yeah.
That was sort of like suppressed anger.
Yeah, lots of anger initially. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Olga. I like meeting all your guides. They're like different flavours of fun.
Different characters.
Characters, yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good
Well, that's all the mediumship questions we have.
Yep. So-
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any questions any of you would like to ask from that? Yes. If we go, actually, Eric first, and then there. Yep. So Eric first.
After experiencing this, I ask myself, how can I connect to my guides and to my guardian angel, and what's the difference?
Well, the role of your guardian is to basically protect you. So they're trying to help you live as long as possible on Earth, so that your incarnation, you could say this is like the kindergarten of life, and they're trying to help you live as long as possible to learn as much as you can during this phase of life. And their role is to protect you from danger. Does that make sense to you? So that
only one?
Well, generally it's one, yes, and in your case it is one, yep, and generally it is one. And their role basically is trying to get into your head whenever you're in danger. That's their primary role, like, stop, don't do that, watch out, that kind of thing.
Not a good idea.
Not a good idea, don't go there, that kind of thing. They're trying to protect you in different ways, sometimes spiritually, but most of the time physically. Yep. They recognise that spiritual protection is very much dependent upon your development and your desires. So there's little they can do to protect you spiritually, there's more they can do to protect you physically. Does that make sense? Yep. Your guide, on the other hand, sometimes will change, and yours have changed actually.
Pretty recently.
Pretty recently, actually, yeah. Your guide is more about what it is you want to do for your spiritual development, and the right person comes along to help you with what you want. So prior to hearing Divine Truth, you wanted sort of like an esoteric development, like intellectual, sort of New Age, almost philosophy attracted to, and your guide then was on the natural love path, but more interested in those things. When you heard Divine Truth, and then you thought, maybe this is the better course of action, because you had that sort of internal decision, and you probably can remember sort of when you had that. And at that stage, your new guide, who you don't know very well at this stage, came to you to help you on that path.
And how can I connect with him? Like, what's the process?
Well, it's not that there's a set of, like
rules.
A checklist,
Yeah.
or rules. They are going to be, like, similar to your guardian. They're trying to encourage you towards things that are good for your spiritual development.
But morally good.
Yeah.
And good for your relationship with God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rather than like with your guardian, he's trying to encourage you more in terms of what's good for your body and what's,
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
And sort of influence and inspire you towards things that are good for your spiritual future. But each person is going to have different ways of really sensing their guides. And I feel reticent to, like, the way that I connect to my guides is going to be different. We have different natures, and sometimes we have different openness as well to different, like, some people do initially have quite an intellectual connection with their guides. Their guides can sort of influence their thoughts and help them reason about things sometimes. Sometimes people feel it as a feeling sense. Sometimes people almost see signs, if you like, which is really the guide causing you to notice something and that you've given significance to. Divine love guides are less into that. They less do the signs thing. But, yeah.
The biggest way a divine love guide influences you is through your emotions. That they are already connected to their emotions and their passions and their desires, and their goal is to connect you to your emotions and your passions and your desires. And so they would prefer to not communicate with you via your mind, and they would prefer to communicate with you via feelings. You know, though, in the past you've had a very strong tendency to have it via the mind, right? Yeah, so this is what they would like you to soften to your feelings more and to soften to the inclination of your feelings more, so that they can influence those feelings when you're having them into a right moral and spiritual direction. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
You just felt a bit of their influence right there, right? Yep. Yep. So you know what it's going to feel in that experience. You get to feel what it's going to feel like. Yep.
But the issue with your guides is they're not going to overcloak you. They're not going to give you, like, experiences or
nothing magical
things. Yeah. And the desire for that often opens you to spirits who are willing to enter codependent addiction with you.
Yep.
And this is where we see a lot of problems on the earth too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in the past you've been tempted to connect with your mind and also almost like a spirit to tell you what to do and, direct your life and things like that. And they don't want to do that. They want to help you develop your own will to do things. And the only way they're going to influence you is go, your will wants to do this. Feel it. They're going to want you to feel that your will wants you to do this, rather than sort of interfere with your mind and try to get you to do things without you recognising your will to do it. Yeah. Yeah. In the past, the spirits have been with you have done the opposite to that almost. They had a sort of plan for you, and they decided they wanted to influence your mind along that plan. Yeah. What's the time now? Just let me... it's getting... we probably want to finish this now because we don't have a lot more time with you, because we need to finish probably by 3. How many of you are busting to go to the toilet? Should we have 5 minutes and just so you can go to the toilet? And then what Mary and I would like to do is talk to you about our plans.